It became the defining image of a campaign against heavy-handed policing. Patsy Stevenson pinned down and arrested at a vigil for Sarah Everard, who was kidnapped, raped and murdered by a serving officer of the Met. 2.5 years on, she and Dania Al-Abaid have received payouts from the force. The women recalled their experiences with Sky's Sophy Ridge.
There were other women there that night who faced that assault from police officers. Like myself, I was covered in bruises by the end of it. I know one of the women fractured her wrist, apparently. So do you know what I mean? It was heavy-handed. When I say heavy-handed, I mean aggressively so.
The aggression prompted widespread condemnation after women were bundled to the floor and detained. Lockdown rules were in place at the time to limit mass gatherings, and the official vigil was cancelled. But that afternoon, hundreds still went to Clapham Common in South London to pay their respects, including the Princess of Wales. In settling the women's claims, the Met expressed regret, but that's it.
There was no apology, really. I mean, they said their actions were appropriate that night.
Their actions were appropriate. I mean, it sounds like a typo, doesn't it? It sounds like you think, oh, they must be meaning inappropriate.
Oh, you mean inappropriate? No, they still stand by that.
In a statement, the force said, "We tried to achieve a balance that recognised the rights of the public to protest and to express their grief and sadness, while also continuing to enforce the relevant COVID legislation," adding it acted in good faith. Events here were looked at by the independent police watchdog, and it ruled the Met had acted appropriately. And judging by the force's statement, it clearly feels that technically it was in the right. But for the women involved, that's really not the point. After all, many came here because they didn't feel protected by the police. And what happened only made that worse. For Dania, it brought back painful memories as a victim of domestic violence.
Going to this vigil and trying to find my voice and stand with other women and express this grief, and then getting arrested and handled the way we did, it brought me back to that time of being silenced.
But their voices are now louder than ever, and they hope their experience will be a catalyst for change.
We need to keep up the public pressure on the police. They need to absolutely radically reform the entire institution or abolish it, if I'm honest.
The overwhelming emotion for both is relief the legal battle is over, but the effects of their arrest will clearly be very long-lasting. Ivor Bennett, Sky News.